And welcome everyone to the Riverside County Board Brief as we give you a brief recap of what happened during today's Board of Supervisors meeting. My name is Pep Fernandez. We appreciate you tuning in. Joining us at the very beginning here on the Board Brief, she is the Public Information Officer for the County of Riverside, Brooke Federico. And Brooke, very cool thing happened behind the scenes, not necessarily talk about during the Board of Supervisors meeting, but with those ARPA funds, and ARPA standing for the American Rescue Plan Act funds, that will go towards our local veterans at March Air Reserve Base.
Thank you so much, Pep. Absolutely. This is an important topic that we really wanted to highlight here today. First, let me share that last October, the Board of Supervisors approved $50 million of those ARPA funds to be directed specifically for addressing homelessness. And even more than that, to really be aimed for supportive housing as well as shelter. Now, today, the county was able to bring forth an item from our Housing and Workforce Solutions Department of a partnership with a local agency called US Vets, where they will be using $1.9 million of that $50 million for homelessness to create a project right here locally at the March Air Reserve Base, specifically aimed to help our veterans who are experiencing housing insecurity or who are at risk for homelessness. So of course, as Pep mentioned, our Board of Supervisors approved that item today, and we wanted to again highlight the real important need of addressing homelessness within our community. If you are a veteran or you know a veteran who is experiencing housing insecurity or at risk for homelessness, please contact the Housing and Workforce Solutions Department today so we can go over different options for you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Brooke. Appreciate that. And I've been to that Veterans Village on the base. What a great resources for our local veterans who you said are experiencing housing insecurity. Thank you, Brooke. Appreciate it. Always good to see you.
Always. Thanks.
All right. That's Brooke Federico, the Public Information Officer here for the County of Riverside. Now let's take a look at some video from earlier today, because today is not only Women's International Day, but it's also Women's History Month. So International Women's Day, Women's History Month, all rolled together. We had a huge presentation by all of our supervisors here, as many local women were recognized and celebrated during the Board of Supervisors meeting. One that we want to touch on, because she is the only female on the Board of Supervisors right now, Karen Spiegel from the 2nd District. Supervisor Spiegel talking about her mentor, Dr. Beth Groves, former city manager for Corona and Norco, past president for Optimist International, now a professor at California Baptist University. So Supervisor Spiegel had a chance to glow a little bit about one of her mentors, Dr. Beth Groves.
But one of my mentors, who I have watched from afar and then very closely, is Beth Groves. She's been 3 decades in governance. She worked in the political world, and then she was city manager for Corona, which is the 3rd largest city here in Riverside County, and then to Norco, completely different cities, but certainly identifies her abilities and leadership. But she took it beyond that. She was very involved in the community at the same time. And I mean really involved. So she has been a mentor to so many people, both men and women. And that's what I admire most about her, is the ability to reach out and bring people up and give them the abilities and the tools that they need to be successful.
All right, that was Supervisor Spiegel talking about Dr. Beth Groves during our big celebration, our big presentation during the Board of Supervisors meeting for International Women's Day and Women's History Month. And finally, let's take a look at a bit more video from earlier today. And this one had to do directly with the Sheriff's Department and the District Attorney's Office. This was a public hearing on equipment and policies for both the Sheriff and the DA. Under Sheriff Dennis Vrooman was here in attendance, addressing the board, talking more about that. And he explains why there was a public hearing on this. Here is Under Sheriff Dennis Vrooman.
So before us, there's actually 4 items in the public hearing. Our specialized police equipment is necessary because there is no reasonable alternative to achieve officer and civilian safety. And this would be one of the findings. The use policies that you have before you will safeguard the public's welfare, safety, civil rights, and civil liberties. And if purchasing determine the equipment is reasonably cost-effective compared to available alternatives that can achieve the same objective of officer or civilian safety. And at this time, we're not asking or purchasing any new equipment. This is all existing equipment that is currently in our department. And then lastly, determine existing police department complies with our use policy. If not, remedy any non-conforming issues and ensure future compliance.
And that was Under Sheriff Dennis Vrooman again explaining what this means for the public hearing with the equipment and policies for the Sheriff's Department and the DA's office. Well, that's going to do it for this Riverside County Board Brief. We appreciate you tuning in each and every week, at least after one of the Board of Supervisors meetings, as we give you a brief recap of what's going on right here in Riverside County. I'm Pep Fernandez. We'll see you next time on the Board Brief, brought to you by the County of Riverside.